Hey everybody, it's Rolly, and I am jumping on today to introduce you to Lorrie Mickelson. So Lorrie Mickelson is one of our speakers who are actually going to be sharing live during our event of Women Inspiring Women. It is our fourth annual event. And for anybody who's been following me, I've been talking about this often. Registrations are closing on the 18th of this month. So really making sure that people are aware. So if you don't know what it is that I'm talking about, there is a link in the description for you to be able to go and check out the information and to learn more about Lorrie and learn more about some of the other speakers. But I wanted to introduce Lorrie. So welcome, Lorrie. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. It's just great to be able to jump on here and chat with you and yes, get the information out there about this amazing conference coming up. I've heard about it every year, and to be involved now as a speaker is just fantastic. So thank you for the opportunity, first and foremost.
Well, we have to really thank the committee, because this year we had 38 women who had actually applied, and so we had a committee that actually helped to put the list together for us. So we're really excited about that. So can you tell me, Lorrie, a little bit more about you, or a little bit more about what it is that you believe in terms of that self-love, I am enough, you are enough theme that we actually are kind of holding on to this year?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I have been kind of approaching life, approaching different phases that I have gone through for many, many years now, in terms of using breath work, using yoga, using various tools that have come my way over the years, making relationships with different people like yourself, and different yoga teachers and different practitioners, that has really, really opened up my world personally, in terms of self-development, in terms of self-love, in terms of growth from a place actually of knowing that what I'm doing right now, where I am in my life right now, is exactly where I'm supposed to be, number one, and is enough. Everything that I am doing, sharing with my clients, with my class participants, with family and friends, it feels like it's a number of things that have come together, and I don't know if it's age-wise right now either. It's things have changed, since the big let's say post 50, where it was kind of not really in the stage anymore of kind of reaching and continually grabbing things. Not that I'm not learning still, I'm constantly learning, but finding that I have been able to get to a better place now of, I have a lot of what I need. I feel like I'm in a very good place. But that was a journey. That was a journey all the way through, and yeah, it came with a lot of support from friends and family and colleagues, and it's a continuous journey. It's a absolute continuous journey, and realizing that of all the tools that I've used over the years, from education to again, to what I've done in my own life with my yoga and Pilates, but it has been being open to mantras and to Reiki and to cards and all of these things that years ago I would have thought, I'm not sure, and now it's like they've all connected. And I've, even getting ready for the conference and listening to the other speakers and listening to the podcasts, there's been some real aha moments already, and have not even been in the conference yet.
And that's one of the things that's really interesting, right? So one of the things that Lorrie's talking about, and actually we'll put the link in the comments for the actual podcast that Lorrie's talking about, is one of the other speakers has a podcast that she's doing. So Elizabeth, and one of the things that that she did was she actually asked us, a few of us, to be able to give a little bit of insight as to what does being enough mean. And so it was really interesting because there were several of us that had put in our input, but yet they were all different. So one topic, one theme, but yet they are all so different. And that's one of the things that I think is absolutely amazing with being able to have these connections and having these conferences, which is why, despite COVID, was like, no, we're going to go and do this virtually and make the experience as experiential as we possibly can, having it in like virtually. And so because that is the part that I think is like the most critical and crucial, is that those experiences of being able to connect with other women, and so other women like yourself. And one of the things that when we go away to conferences or we go away to different things, is that it's that interconnection, at least it is for me, it's that interconnectedness that we have when we actually get to connect with other participants, when we actually get to sit down at the table and have a conversation with one of the speakers and that kind of thing. Whereas when there's somebody just on stage, you just go ahead and do something and then you leave, and then you don't have that connection. And so that's one of the things with the conference that has been right from the onset of 4 years ago, is that interconnectedness and being able to have those experiences. And like you said, without even having the conference started yet, we've already been able to make some of those connections with the people who are inside the private Facebook group, but as well as the facilitators Facebook group. And it allows us to be able to build those connections. So Tracy O'Brien says, we as women tend to do that. We become mothers, and for 20 plus years, we focus on our kids and our husband. And as we grow and live their own paths, we get time to reflect on ourselves. Finally, LOL. So yeah, for those of you who are just starting the journey, because we do have some young moms that are also participating and that join us on this journey as well. And so don't think that you have to be in mine and Lorrie's era or mine and Lorrie's age for you to benefit. Because one of the things that I think is incredible is when we have those younger women who are starting off this self-exploration at a much younger age than we did, right? So do you find that, Lorrie?
I do, actually. And you know, the sentence that comes up, if I only knew then what I know now. But of course we know we're going through the process, as we should be, on our journey. But at the same time, it is so powerful to bring women together of different ages and different experiences for something like this. And that's, you know, as you were saying, that the opportunity to be together over virtually, this is a very different, let's say, format that is hugely powerful, to be able to be virtual over a 3-day experience. So and I'm going to say hats off to, again, yourself and everyone putting this together, because I believe that's truly where the power is going to come from for all of the 3 days, and that's where we connect with younger moms and grandmothers and everybody who's at a different stage. And as I said, I just couldn't believe how much I have grown in this short period of time, listening to some of the other speakers, and you know, of course, I follow them on Instagram, and I can't imagine when the participants, I can't see, but I think Tracy, is that who you just said?
Yeah, Tracy.
Yeah, exactly. So as Tracy comes on, and then the interaction between the participants, and and the speakers, it can be as powerful. And there's going to be some actually other parts of it that can sometimes be even more powerful virtually. And that's the one thing that I've noticed in this last year, even teaching classes virtually. There are different opportunities that arise. And when you bring women together, again, of different disciplines and different ages, it's pretty exciting.
It is. And one of the things that I think is like super cool. So like I know for anybody who doesn't know, Lorrie and I are in the same region. So we've known each other for a long time. But like one of the things that I think is like really cool is that being able to connect to women all around the world. We have women from Australia, we have women from the UK, we have women all across Canada and across the US. So it's really incredible to be able to have that ability of being able to connect with people all over the place. And so I know that that's been my experience over the last year with everything that's been going on. I've had those experiences before in terms of, because I've worked online for a while, but it's not in terms of the magnitude of the different events that we're actually experiencing are much different than even a year ago, right? So prior to COVID happened, I still participated in a lot of different circles that were virtual and things like that. But in terms of being able to like pull people together and doing all these different things, is that the experiences are much different. So the platforms that we use are different. The interactions that we use are different. And so it just gives us all that kind of different experience altogether. And so one of the things that I've had the privilege of being able to do over the last year is being able to kind of pick and choose based on conferences and workshops and stuff that I've attended, that it's like, yeah, I don't really like that, or yeah, I really like that. So it's like a really huge compilation of being able to kind of pull things together. And I've got some amazing people on my team for behind the scenes to help me get some of those other pieces working. There was one thing that it was like in my head, but trying to figure out how to be able to get it out so that it was actually going to have the layout that I was like hoping for. And so I was able to connect with somebody on Wednesday who had that area of expertise that was able to help me get it from my head onto the screen. So I'm really excited about a lot of those different things that we actually have to being able to have access to. So is there anything else, Lorrie, that in terms of your experiences from doing these virtual events? Because I know you've hosted a summit, and so share a little bit about how these things have actually come to play for you.
I think that one of the things I thought of actually as you were speaking is that the opportunity as well for women who are coming into the conference. Some are in different careers and different positions, different times in their lives, that they might be coming in to just absolutely absorb everything from a very personal perspective. And it's very my career all the way through has always been a crossover, personal to professional. And that's the beautiful thing about what a lot of us do, right? It's just a really, our personal life is affected by our profession, and it really crosses over nicely. So some women are going to come in from different careers, and this is going to be a retreat for you, as for everyone who's listening, and you're absolutely going to love it. There will also be, I'm suspecting, and Rolly, you can let me know about this, women coming in who are kind of thinking about, maybe this is some of the areas that some of the teachers are talking about, or are or disciplines that they're coming from. I'd like to look into this a little bit more. And as Rolly had said as well, we've known each other for quite a while, and Rolly and I get very excited about technology. Right?
Retrograde is one of those challenges, but that doesn't last the whole year.
Well, exactly. And we like we do, even though there's things that happen, we like the challenge of just bringing our message out and sharing our gifts in different ways. So there is going to be, again, however you're coming into this conference, there are going to be little sparks that will happen. And that's just, I don't know, that just jumped into my head right now as you were speaking. So there's just going to be so many different levels and so many different opportunities. So I will mention just one more thing as well, and this comes back to, as you were talking about the podcast, where four of us speakers that came together. And I think that's really what everyone's going to enjoy as well, is that we come to the topic of self-love, of enoughness from different backgrounds, from different, as I said, focuses, different disciplines. So I am a very system framework kind of person, and this is how I processed, I think, my life in a sense. If I can put everything or most things into a relationship between a circumstance to our thoughts, to our emotions, to our feelings, to the decisions we make in life, to the results that we get, this is how actually I also come to self-love, and how I come to contentment and enoughness. And again, very different than where some of the other speakers will come to you from. So I think you're going to be very pleased with the breadth and the differences. There'll be something for everybody. It's pretty astounding.
And in history, like in terms of like, because like I said, this is our 4th year, and so one of the things that has happened is I always come up with a theme, so whatever that theme is. And one of the things that I find is like super interesting is that how they all interconnect. So like even so somebody's like, oh well, you must have known what it is that each speaker is going to talk about. I don't. I have that same blurb that everybody else has. I know nothing more about what it is that the speakers and I use a lot of my own intuition in terms of like where to place people and how that timing and stuff is going to, because I try and make it so that it flows as best as possible. But I don't know really what people are going to be talking about or how they're going to be talking about things, and even the people that I do know. So like I know that I have that history with Lorrie, and I have that history with a few other speakers, but even still, I still don't know what the message is going to be until, because the messages are always different. But I love that interconnectedness. I love how when we have one theme but you'll be talking about one thing and somebody else will be talking about something else, but they were all the same thing. And so the one year we had a conversation, and I can't remember which theme that we had that year, but like everybody that was talking, everybody that came forward, all had a message, and none of them were planned ahead of time, right? So, but they all had a message that all related to water and how water is healing. And it was like, wow, they're talking about water again. Oh, that person's talking about water. Oh my God, that person's talking about water. And it was all about that interconnectedness of how the water was healing. And so I'm really interested, and I can't wait to be able to see what particular parts are going to be that same similar things in terms of being able to share that everybody's going to be sharing. So thanks so much, Lorrie, for taking the time to introduce yourself and to be part of this little just kind of a sneak peek from a speaker's perspective of being able to share. So namaste, Lorrie.
Namaste, Rolly. It was an absolute privilege to get on here. We don't actually do this often enough, you and I, so it's a treat. Yeah, for sure, to be able to chat with you. And again, I am blown away by the work and the whole format of this conference already, and your history precedes you in terms of the success of these conferences. So I am over the top excited.
Thanks so much, Lorrie. So thanks again, everybody. And I will be on with other speakers and other event coordinators and some of our exhibitors over the course of the next couple of weeks, and being able to introduce some kind of behind the scenes and behind the people kind of things. So, so thanks again, Lorrie, and I will talk to everybody soon. Bye for now.